Today, just to welcome everyone, thank you for joining us for another WiBUG session here. Today is about Ultra Power-Ups, automate, motivate, and elevate your course. We wanted to do something that focused on features that are built into Ultra and that can kind of elevate your course design. You don't have to go out to any third-party tools or anything like that. You can use everything that's there in Ultra and use that to improve course. Um, this is kind of our mission statement that we've been working with here. This is a collaborative hub. Our goal is to meet as peers and talk about things and look at things, exchange ideas, troubleshoot. And of course, the other part of this is we'd like for other people to come into the user group as well and share ideas that are working for them. If you've got some expertise or an idea you want to share, we're eager to grow the community and get more and more people in and involved with that. If you're interested, this QR code will take you to a form, which also doubles as a survey. So you can hop on there, you can give us your input from today. And if you're interested in presenting on future topics, please reach out to us and let us know through that. Again, the QR code is right here. If you use that, you can hop in. Awesome. So getting rolling here. This is our overview as we're looking at everything, kind of a breakdown of the who's who. We've got automations. Gina's going to be talking about achievements. John's going to be going over reminders, and then we're back to Gina for some batch edit. You'll know every time we get to Gina because she has the amazing fonts that she chose because she's now a newly loving Canva user. So, and then at the end, we have Tony with Video Studio feedback here. So I'm up first, so I'll hop right into it and kind of give you the rationale of why automations. Automations are a new feature in Ultra, and they're relatively new in that they can provide timely feedback. And I kind of underline the things that I think are most important from this. They save you time, they drive student engagement, and you can tailor them to students. And they're performance based as well. So kudos to people who are doing well. And then you can give supportive messages as well to people that you want to target for improvement and to get more engaged in your courses. That's kind of the idea behind them. Here's a quick look of where you can find some of this. So I'm going to kind of fly through these slides because I'll show you these and then I'll kind of follow up with a live demo of this in action. The automations are in your main course panel over on the right side. So below your instructor area here, you can see that you've got the automations. And once you get into there, you have three different options to choose from now. It was just the first two, and now they've added feedback reminders on there as well. If you're not seeing these, reach out to your Blackboard admin and have them enable them if you're curious to try them. Right now at Blackhawk Technical College, we have these enabled, and we're encouraging instructors to give them a go and try them out. But you can send congratulatory messages and supportive messages, and then you can send feedback reminders as well. So if you've got a larger assignment that you're giving a lot of feedback on and that feedback is driving instruction, then you can give reminders revolving around that. This is kind of what it looks like once you click in to create your first automation. And there are two parts to it. There's a trigger, and then there's actually the message that gets sent. So in this case, you're seeing a supportive message that is focusing around project one. And it's focusing on a grade that's greater than 95%. And then you're just giving a message that reinforces the good work that they're doing here. This format is exactly the same for a congratulatory message versus a supportive message. They're very similar in how they're set up. This is kind of what I want to show in the live demo part here, but this is kind of a quick what you're going to be seeing. This is, I'm calling it a pro tip. We're a big fan here in our Seattle of saying pro tips or the top 5 steps, and breaking it down that way. But our pro tip here today is, what if you were to actually pair supportive messaging along with performance-based release conditions? And the idea is that you've got a project. That project is going to have certain performance criteria to it. If they achieve above that performance criteria, they're going to get a congratulations. If they achieve below that, they're going to get another follow-up activity that's going to show up only to the students that perform below that target. And then it's going to be a release condition that allows them to go in and further enact with a follow-up to the project that drives kind of the outcomes. We like this because it's a little bit more adaptive. It targets the students that we want to target and gets them involved. And this is what that kind of looks like. So to give you a little bit of a live demo here, I'm going to hop out of the presentation and hop over to a course that I've got here. This is a sample course. Nobody's actually in this except myself and a few other people and a lot of rock stars. So we put this together to kind of test things out and see what's what inside of Ultra and see these different features. And like I said, over on the right-hand side here, you've got the automations that you can create. We'll get to those in just a little bit. Here is the module where I actually put the automations and the project that I was showing in the slides. So if I break this down, if I can find the right one, there we go. Here's project one. Okay, and project one right now is open to every student. They would complete project one, and if they, according to the release conditions, get 80% or lower, they're going to get a follow-up activity that's going to help reinforce the outcomes or the course competencies that are really targeted here, and those students will receive this assignment as an extra. Right now, this assignment is living in a no category, so it doesn't factor into the grade book for everyone. It doesn't factor in at all, but it does have points assigned to it. And then depending on how the instructor wants to set that up, they could work those points back into project one after they've revisited some of these key parts. So to show you how that plays out a little bit, let's go in and create an automation first and then walk through those steps. So I'm going to view my automations. You can see the one that I've got created right now, which is the follow-up. This is a supportive automation. So this is going to be sent if I'm below that 80% mark as a student. I'm going to get this, and it's going to prompt me to complete the other work that's meant to help out along the way here. We're going to create a new automation. This one's going to be positive. So we come in, new automation. There's the three options that you have. We're going to configure a congratulatory one. And I'm going to pick for the first part. Well, first off, I should put a title on here. Congratulations. And this is going to be very generic, so I apologize. We're going to say for project one. And we're going to say anything that's greater than an 80% for our criteria. And we're done with the first part. This is what's going to trigger the automation to be sent. So I'll go ahead and basically save that by clicking done. And now I'm going to grab some verbiage from my friend ChatGPT here just to speed this along. And I'm going to hop back in here because I want to customize the message that's going to go out to the student. So we can click into the little pencil here, and then we can select all of this, and we can paste in that message from ChatGPT, which again is very, very generic. So I put that in there. You can jazz this up with however you want. I think personally, one of the things that would really help here is if you could add course links in. You can actually target the next assignment, or you could target the next thing that's in the progression of their learning here, and they could click on that, and it would take them right to that. I think that would be an awesome thing. I've got that on the idea exchange. I'll bring that up in a little bit here, but I am done with this automation of congratulations. So I go ahead and done and save. And now let's hop out of here. There it is. So you can see both of them. They're both focused on project one, and they've got that benchmark. I know I got a little overlap with the above and below 80% here, but we can work out those details later. So now let's see this actually play out from the student perspective. I think that's important here. So I'm going to hop in as a student preview. So again, I'm in the same course. I'm going to click into student preview and start that. And once I get in here, I'm now in my preview user. I'm going to scroll down to that module, week 2. And you can see from my perspective, I only see the one project that's in here. That's because there has been no performance based on it whatsoever. So I'm not seeing the other one show up yet. I'm going to go in like I'm a student, and I'm going to read my instructions and all that. And I'm just going to scroll to the bottom and make kind of a generic submission here so we can work with this grade wise. And if I can scroll, that would be good. There we go. And I'm going to say, here's my project. Sounds very student-like here. Boom, right? And now at the bottom, I submit this and submit. And it gives me my receipt. Great. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop out of here, but I'm going to save this so that I can interact with this item on my gradebook as the instructor. So we're finishing up the student part of this. Let's go save. And now if I go to my gradebook, which again, these are all fictional people that are in here, so you're not seeing any grades of actual people's. You can see for my preview user that I have a new submission that's actually on project 1. And as the grader now, as the instructor, I go in here and I can say that, well, obviously I would view the submission and go through the rubric and all of that. But I'm going to say, wow, you didn't quite meet the mark, Tim. And we're going to put it at a 70% here, which is below mastery. And I'm going to hit enter there. And then I'm going to post this too, just to make it official. So let's go ahead and post that. Boom. So now, instructor has graded that project. There's a mark in there that's below the 80% mastery, which should trigger my supportive message and the automations to go out. And then it should also trigger that extra assignment or the follow-up activity to show up as well. So to see that, I'm going to hop back in as a student here, go into my student preview, start that up. You could have layers of this with a lot of different projects or different assignments. It doesn't have to be just a project. So now you can see there's my project, and because I received below an 80%, now I'm seeing this. Now, any student that got above 80% is not seeing this second assignment. They got the congratulations automation as well. So now I'm kind of looking at it like, oh, I can go in here and I can do that. And I can view my submission and all that stuff and see what's going on. Okay. And then in the automations, I received that message as well that says, hey, nice job. So let me hop out of here and go to my messages. Okay. The announcements. Back in my content, sorry. And I go back in there. And then I've got this other assignment that I can follow up with here to go with. So that's all been sent out now. I've got this new one. Now, if I get the above 80%, I get an automation that sends that message out, and I receive that. And I'm not receiving the message right now as a preview user because it's targeting my other user account. So I apologize, you're not seeing that part as well. But I've got both aspects. I've got a message, and then I've got the follow-up to that assignment here with that. And that's the idea behind the automations, whether good or supportive, whichever route you want to take. And then you can also do the same workflow for the reminders as well whenever you're giving feedback on things. So I'm going to hop out of here and I'm going to discard this and hop back to the presentation to kind of follow up with this. With this all being completed here, this is the part that I want to put out there too for those of you that are in Blackboard already and using it. This is something that I put on here. I think this is kind of the next layer to making this even more effective, is adding in a course link. Now, I could put in a course link right into that automated message that goes out, and then that would link up to that other assignment that is support, or it might link up to the next assignment in the module that kind of progresses along to the what's next, because I've already got mastery on that particular assignment. So if you're interested in that, you can vote on that here. It's on the Idea Exchange. It's just another thing that you can interact with to kind of drive the development of Blackboard here. That sums up my portion here of automations. But before we hop into Gina's with achievements would be like the triple threat here. You've got automations, you've got release conditions, and then if you have achievements also tied to that, it could be a trifecta of communication and engagement with students. So with that, I'm going to hop out of here and I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Gina.
And before I go, Danny Frank wanted to just do a couple of updates from Anthology. So I'm going to actually move it over to Danny first, and then I will do my side.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just take a quick minute. I'm putting in the chat some links. Our conference, of course, is coming up the week of July 13th in Dallas. So there's resources for the conference, and then I'm circling them with my arrow as though you can see me doing that. Workshop proposals are still open, I believe, until like mid-March. So please feel free to submit there. Catalyst Awards are essentially recognitions for awesome work that you all are doing on your campuses. And so take a look and please consider nominating folks yourselves or others for Catalyst Awards. We have an award luncheon and recognition at the conference. And little sidebar, we have a friendly competition going among CSMs to see which region can put forward the most nominations. So if you need any help or have questions about that, feel free to reach out. And then the exemplary course program, those nominations are open for another week. That's another thing where we have recognition at the conference, and would love to see you submitting courses to that. So please reach out if you have any questions. The last thing, Monday, the 2nd, we will emerge from Chapter 11 and be our standalone Blackboard company, and we should have some more updates coming on what that means in the near future. So thanks, Gina.
All right, so my side is going to be talking about achievements and how you can use those achievements in your courses. And some of the ways that I am currently using achievements in my courses is it could be just a simple participation. So maybe in a week 1, your students are participating by answering something in a discussion, and then they can get a little badge of achievement for just that participation. It could be things of like completing an entire module or doing well in a certain part of a module, performance recognition, depending on what you are looking for in terms of an instructor. Like one of our instructors is currently doing different badges based on the airplanes that their students are flying in our FAA program. So there's multiple different ways that you can kind of incorporate this into your class. So I'm going to go, and when you're in Blackboard, you're actually going to click on Achievements here in the upper right-hand corner. And in the upper right here, there's an Add Course Badge. So you start there, and then you can give your badge a new name. So I'm going to do a Watt a Legend. So I am a physics teacher, so my envision of this was in Chapter 1. My students are going to be completing work on electricity, and then when they're done with that work or they score a certain percentage on a test, they then can get a badge for congratulating them with a certain score. So in here, I'm going to do Watt a Legend, and I'm just going to put in a little description for my students. So congratulations on scoring, get this there, so on scoring and well and completing module 1. Down here, you can choose some of the badge images that are provided by Anthology. I like to create my own badges, so I'm going to click on Customize My Own Badge, and I'm going to grab a picture that I created that says Watt a Legend, that's corresponding with the name of my badge. So now that I have the photo, so this is what it's going to look like for the students. They're going to get the little image, and then it's going to say it's earned by whomever, and then on this particular date, and then the course, and then my little congratulatory message. Down here on the bottom, I can then set my performance criteria. So you can do this in a couple ways. So the first one would be that you take and you set a certain score. So this one I'm going to do Module 1 knowledge check, and I'm going to say they need to score 100% or higher. You could do 2 points or higher, whatever you want to do. You can also add multiple performance criteria. So for example, if you had 3 or 4 different assessments within your course, you can actually add all of them in here. And then once all of them have been achieved, then this badge will be earned. So once you kind of set that, you then press publish. One of the like alerts that I'm going to give you is once this is published, you can't edit it. So if something isn't correct, you'll have to delete it out and then put it back in. So just as a heads up with that. So here's my little legend. I'm then going to go into my course here. Let me see if this is my one here. Okay. Sorry about that. So my student, and actually what I'll do here is my test students that I have can come into the course, take the quiz, and then those badges will be automatically given to my students. And I apologize, everybody, because it logged me out while I was waiting here. So here's my test students. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So my student comes in. Let's say they come into this chapter, they complete the little knowledge check, they can start their attempt. Hopefully I can, we'll go quick here. Should have chose easier questions, huh? And then, which of the following? Okay. Let's see if I can submit. Hopefully I read quick enough that I have the right. Shoot, you guys, I got one of the answers incorrectly. I'm just going to go to one of the other badges. I must have read too quickly on here. So when the student sees it, it's going to look like this with the little achievements. They can see which badges they can still earn. They can see which ones are new. They can click on it and see what the requirements are for that badge. When they do complete it, and they click in here, they'll see those badges here and then what they needed to do to perform well on that badge. So at this point, I am going to hand it off to John Futterer to talk more about the reminder system in Blackboard Ultra.
Thanks, Gina. Let me go ahead and share my screen and go to my slides. Okay, so hopefully you're seeing that. So reminders, if students are not submitting their assignments and you're getting a little nervous for them, that is getting close to the due date, there is a super simple way to send a reminder through the gradebook in Blackboard. And so just a little bit of overview here on the slide, and then I'll go into that and show you around how it works. But again, I put it on there super simple and fast. So it'll send the students an email reminder, which is awesome because sometimes students, have their email connected on their phone. So it'd be like, oh, that's right, I got to get that assignment in. What it actually will send the reminders for is the assignments, tests, and any typically graded items. It is sent as a blind courtesy copy type email, and that's important because if there are quite a few students that haven't submitted yet, it'll appear as an individual email to each of those students. And just a note that it will not do this for if you have a manually graded type of assignment. So let's go ahead into Blackboard and show you where that is. Okay, so it is in both views. I just thought I'd start with this one. So you would just simply click on the column for that reminder. Obviously, in my test course here, it's just me that's in this course. So we'll just send the reminder to me. It'll give you, okay, are you sure you want to send this? And it's just an automated reminder for that assignment. The other view, of course, will also do this, but it's the horizontal dots on the right-hand side. Same format, basically, if you will. And that's really all there is to it. Pretty easy, but could be valuable, when there's a couple of days left for that assignment and you're seeing that only a few students have submitted the assignment. You might want to take advantage of that. Let me go ahead back to my slides because my colleagues wouldn't let me get away with something that simple. So I'm also going to present on activity streams. So let me go ahead to that slide and go into a larger view for you. So activity stream, this is a great opportunity for your students to be able to get a customized quick view of what's coming up, what's recent. You see I have categories there. They're important, upcoming, today, and recent. Recent is within the last 7 days. But I think most often, upcoming is what students might be interested in. And now I'm going to show you in Blackboard what this looks like. And it could be valuable for you as well because I'm in there as an instructor view because I don't teach and have a course that I can give you an example for the students, but we'll just pretend that students are seeing the same thing from their point of view. And there, I'm going to cover filter and notifications. I think it's best just for me to go ahead in there and show you that. So here we go. We're going to go into the outside of our courses when we first go into Blackboard and click on the left menu there under activity. As soon as you do that, it shows the kind of the standard or default view. You see there's the upcoming, and as you scroll down, today, recent, and those that apply. So I don't have all 4 identified here just because for me it doesn't apply there. And you can filter it so you can show like assignments and tests. That might be really important for students from their perspective. Grades and feedback. I'll click that one because from that instructor point of view, new submissions ready to grade, could be a great reminder for faculty. Here's an English course that I'm a supplemental user in, so it has information from that perspective as well. And again, the recent is in the last 7 days. So I do want to indicate how you can, if you don't know this already about notifications, you can customize your notifications with the gear wheel in the upper right-hand corner. And here you can do the stream notifications, email notifications, and then your push or, what's might be really important from your perspective. So just when you would look at this from the stream perspective, you would just identify the ones that you would like to include in your notifications. Sometimes we can kind of get too many notifications, so sometimes it's really good to get in there and tailor them so you're getting really what you need without all the extra that could make it a little bit more challenging. So I thought I'd show that. But activity stream can be really a great thing because you can, I didn't mention this earlier, but you can jump right to a course or wherever it is that you need to take some action. And that's great for students because the activity stream is for all of the students' courses. And so it's going to separate. I do have other courses identified, so you're seeing different courses that are identified here as well. So that's a quick overview of activity stream. So what I'm going to do is stop sharing and turn it over to, I think, Gina, you're going, you have a second presentation, right? Okay,
Yep.
so let me go ahead and stop sharing here for you.
So while John was presenting, I was able to get my test student to actually get a 3 out of 3. So I should have chose easier questions and not had to do such quick math in my head or read something. But here is the little badge that got awarded once Isaac Newton is my test student, actually did the scoring that he should have done on his quiz here. So there's his little badge. My next area is on batch edit, and you can use batch edit for a couple things within your course. So the one is to allow you to maybe change the visibility of certain items in bulk in your course. You can delete multiple items, change date or the opening date, the date of the assignment, automatically in one big swoop as you are using this little feature. So to find bulk edit, you are actually going to go into your course, and underneath like the course image banner, you're going to see 3 dots here in the upper right hand corner near the words course faculty, and you're going to click on that and go to batch edit. And let's say, for example, I'm going to start with visibility. So I'm ready to open up chapters 3, 4, and 5. I can actually click all 3 of those chapters, and then I can go down on the bottom, click edit visibility, and then I can change that so that it's visible to students. So it's a really easy way, especially right after we open up or course copy a course, for example, and we need to open up an entire module all at once. It's a very easy way for instructors to do that. The other thing that you can do is you can delete multiple things. So as I'm working with our faculty, as we're just moving into Ultra right now, they're discovering that a lot of the things that are in their course, when they bulk copied over, there's things that they don't need. So teaching them this feature of batch edit where they can select the items that they don't need and then click down to where it says delete items, and they can delete all of those items at one time. Another thing that you can do is if I take a look here at chapter 1, let's say I do the drop down menu, and you can see here that there's a couple of assignments with some dates here that were due at 2/26 maybe, and maybe I want all of their, sorry, that was the access, their due dates here are all kind of different, right? I had some that was maybe from the last semester, some that are in this semester, but maybe I want them all to have the same due date. You can actually click on that box, go down to where it says edit dates. In here, I can actually set where the module can open up at a specific time. So I can say, have this module open up on, maybe it's 2/27. Maybe you as an instructor also want the module to close down at a certain time. That's totally up to you. I'm going to leave it as it just opens at a particular time. And then I'm going to set all of the due dates in this particular module for next Friday, so the 6th. If you want to put in a time, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to say they're due on any time on the 6th. And then I'm going to do edit dates. And within a couple of seconds, it's going to take all of the dates within that module and then change them, as you can see here, to March 6th. So a very easy way to change things to open up a module at a specific point, but then to also make sure that the dates can all be opened or all due at the same time, depending on how you're running your courses. But I really liked that feature. Another thing that you can do, and again, I'll just take the same module. When you go to the edit dates feature, there is the ability to actually even select everything at one time, and you can change the number of due dates in your course by a certain number of days. So maybe you're going from your fall to your spring semester and you know that it's whatever, XYZ days. You can then put in those dates, like shift the days forward, 60 days or whatever. And then it will take all of the due dates within your class, shift everything 60 days, and then it should be ready to go for the next set of next semester. The last thing is change the dates based on the course start date. So again, you can select that one, choose the course start date, and then put in the first start date, and then everything else should filter down as it kind of goes along. One of the things that I have noticed, and it's when I've been doing like the edit visibility and I change the dates, you'll see this top bar here that's yellow currently, but when it is doing its batch editing, it's usually like a dark gray or a black color. And I usually try to tell our faculty, I'm like, wait for it to turn yellow, because they like to exit out of that. And I had one faculty where they exited just a little too early, and then things got a little messy. So just wait for that little yellow bar to show up before you exit out of that screen. But this has been extremely helpful for our faculty, again, for editing dates, editing visibility, and then deleting items. The other thing that I wanted to show you is there is a way to also batch edit test point questions. So if I click on this particular exam, when you are in an exam, and let's say you want, instead of 1 point, I wanted all of these to be 10 points, there's 3 buttons here in the upper right-hand corner, and you can go to bulk edit points. And then you can say select all, and then I want all of them to be 10 points, and I can then update it. And then now all of the points have been updated to 10 points instead of being the 1 point. So that is a very nice feature that our instructors can create questions and then actually have them be worth the points that they would like them to be worth. At this point, I am going to hand off the presentation to Tony, and he's going to be sharing some more information for you about how to add feedback in assignments.
Okay, I'm going to share. Okay, so one of the things that I've started doing is, and I'm hoping everybody can see my screen, so this is new for me, but is the video feedback in Ultra. And one of the classes I teach it's a 1-credit class. It's college success, and there are a lot of journal entries and discussion boards, and to respond to all the discussion boards. If I have 23 students, usually 20 students, to do all of I do reply to every student because of the nature of the class. It takes a long time, so I started, if I do typing, if I use the video feedback, it's made my time much less involved with the typing. And the other side of it is a lot of the students are seeing sometimes college feedback for the first time, their first semester students in this course. So I want to have them see my face and hear my voice, hear the inflection, so they're not reading it through that filter in their head from maybe being in high school and not being such a successful student, or they're coming back to college for their first time in being from high school, or they tried college and they're coming back. So they've got this some anxiety about feedback or getting feedback on their assignments. And it can be, I can make it very emphatic with enthusiasm, or if there's a concern with the submission, I can include that as well, and in just the tone of my voice and the words that I'm using and my facial expressions. So it's really easy to personalize that for my students. And one of my feedbacks with the course evaluation, one of the students said that the instructor even provided a video feedback for him. And I was like, well, I'm glad that it was appreciated. The other side of it is it's very easy to do. So that's the ease of use. I get to work with Gita and Tim and everybody in this team here when we do things. And sometimes I'm not necessarily the most technologically advanced person. So if it's easy for me to use, I believe it's easy for anybody to use. And it's time, again, I brought up time saving. And the screen capture can be a little tricky with, I find it difficult. I've got to create a duplicate screen so I can share on that screen. Once I figure that out, it's actually very easy. So I can actually scroll through my screen and do audio and or video feedback while I'm scrolling through the screen, and the student would see the same thing. So it's that easy, really. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in my course, and this is just my test course as well. So I've got a discussion, and one of the things that I put in, this morning I just had Tony submitted his work, and of course it's late. So the question has several prompts to answer, and Tony didn't do such a great job. He had a score situation here, so I want to talk to him about that. But in the discussion post, I can just create this video by going into the reply area, and I'm just going to scroll down a little bit further. If I click on type a reply, I can just choose this audio video, and it's going to pop up this menu that I shared in the slide image. I usually just use a camera. I don't do just audio because I want them to see my face also, because I realize I'm not a very good poker player because my face tells a lot. The other thing where I like to use it, so this is really time saving for me. The other place where I like to use it is in the feedback for my students. So even doing a discussion post, I can also do the feedback in the grading area of the assignment. So I really like using this feature as well. It does save time. It's a tool that I can use rather easily. And when I go to create this video, one of the things that has been an improvement, I'm just going to do this quickly here, when I use a camera, and I hope it's not going to mess up because I'm doing duplicate. So I can minimize this so I can still see the screen that I want to talk about. So that was one of the nice things that I like with this update that they made. So I'm going to stop doing this because it's causing some issues on my side. So, but really, it's one of the things that I do like about it is time saving and the effectiveness of my feedback. I don't have to think about the words that they're reading and think about the filter that they're going through. They can actually hear and see my voice, see my face, hear my voice and inflection. So that's one of the features that I do like about this. And I'm going to now hand it off to who's next for this work of art here.
Well, Tony, I can hop in on that last one there.
Okay.
And that'll kind of no problem, and that'll bring us to pretty close to the end here. And Andrew posted some stuff into the chat about Video Studio, and he was asking about licensing. And there is a core Video Studio that is built into your general license for Blackboard. And I think it gives you announcements, the ability for instructors to do announcements. Gina and Tony will probably know more about that. But some of the features that Tony was showing was definitely like an extra licensure that's with Blackboard for Video Studio as a premium add-on. And Tony, you want to add on to that a little bit?
I can add on that I'm not aware of the licensing and structure for that feature. I just appreciate it. One of the things, yes, it's a cost. When I think of faculty work and time, and if we can save time and have them provide quality feedback to their students, sometimes there's a give and take for it. And I understand budgets and all of that, so I'm not saying we'll just go off and do it, but I realize there are some possible advantages to having that. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my screen here to kind of wrap this up. And I did want to make sure that I show the last part here of what I was waiting for to happen during my demo. It's like Gina getting the achievement and getting all 3 questions right here. But here is that course. And remember, I didn't quite hit the mark on things. So as a student, I received that supportive message through the automations. And this is what came in here. It took like 20 minutes to kind of come through here. But when I go in, now I can see that actual feedback, like directing me to revisit and do the additional follow-up activity. And that kind of helps me up. If I had been above 80%, this would have been the other message, which would be the positive reinforcement for that. And I can actually reply to this as well, and that goes to the message. Andrew asked a question about if this only shows up in messages or if it shows up in email. And honestly, I'm going to have to research that because this is new enough that I don't know. So I'll have to look into that, and I'll have to get back to you, Andrew, but I appreciate the question on that. That brings us to kind of the ending of this, and that's the what's next here. We've got another WiBUG event here coming up in March if you want to mark your calendars, and we're going to be rounding out the content for this. One of the things we would like to do, though, is get more people in and presenting and sharing their expertise here. So if you're interested in March 27th, sharing some of the stuff that you do inside of Blackboard or Blackboard adjacent, you can fill out this survey here. We'll get your feedback from this survey, but if you want to get involved as well, there's options for that as well. So, use that QR code. Hop in there and please give us some feedback so we can make improvements along the way. We're still pretty new at the WiBUG sessions here and have had like a once a month opportunity to kind of build them out, but we appreciate your feedback on everything. So thank you.